Hello and welcome to Devas, Angels, and Aliens. My name is Matt, and all of this began in my flying dreams as far back as I can remember. Hovering up on the ceiling in my room, floating peacefully in and out of the other rooms in my childhood home, zooming over neighborhood and unknown rooftops in the dark, moonlit skies, and carving the sloped grassy hills with my ecstatic and weightless body. But it wasn't always wondrous. My out-of-body experiences also happened when I was awake, and that split in consciousness caused multiple moments of confusion and physical illness. My family would often go to the shopping mall on Saturdays, and shortly after entering the mall, I would find myself overwhelmed by the noise of all the talking, both internal and external, and also the flickering of the fluorescent lights. I was able to keep it together until we went upstairs to the TV and radio section, where the high-pitched frequencies pressed on my ears and head, and my hands began to feel like thick balloons, just like the Pink Floyd song, Comfortably Numb. Then the back of my neck would start to heat up and feel clammy and on fire before flipping to an icy, cold numbness. Suddenly, the conscious me that I normally knew would squeeze out the top of my head and begin riding above my own head, staring down at this mysterious contraption known as a body. At this point, I could not control this body. Its movements were foreign and jerky, and I would crash into objects and knock things over on the way to often being sick to my stomach. So now you're probably asking yourself what all of this has to do with Devas, angels, and aliens. I offer these stories as examples of the type of energetic sensitivity that exists in our rather misguided and confused world, with the intention of bridging that gap between those who experience dissociation, out-of-body experiences, PTSD, anxiety, depression, and perhaps even some aspects of Asperger's and high-functioning autism. Sensitive people face all kinds of challenges in our modern mess, but I found that the understanding that lies behind energetic perception is a great relief and gives much meaning to what our establishment has labeled as illness or disease. As a teenager, I experienced loneliness and depression, owing to the fact that I could find no one who experienced anything even close to what I encountered. I remember rainy days walking home, longing for some kind of genuine company, only to have the wind surround and blanket me with the most comforting presence while the rain touched my face. I could swear I heard someone speaking to me, yet there were never words, only impressions of feelings that later were remembered as words, As a kid, I would be awakened by a noise and the visceral fear of someone entering my room, watching me, and I would freeze up, unable to move until they left. Later, much later in life, I realized that I was simultaneously thrilled to my core during these terrifying moments, as if someone had run a powerful electric current through my entire body. Over the years, as these encounters increased, I came to understand that these were other beings. Because they felt so incredibly foreign to me, I could only describe them as alien. No one and no thing that I had ever met in my lifetime embodied that kind of electric presence and awareness. About once a year, I would have these crazy cat dreams too. In one dream, I was in a cool and dimmed movie theater, surrounded by cats perched in their seats, with no other humans around. These cats all resembled Bastet and Sekhmet, the Egyptian goddesses or Devas. They looked at me with glowing eyes overflowing with awareness and knowing. and something resembling complete desire and sensuality. I swooned under their gazes, and they communicated worlds upon worlds of knowing without making a single sound. Were they aliens too? Throughout all of my studies of world religions, I was also impressed by the visitations of angels and Devas, and couldn't help but notice these similarities. At one point, while visiting an ashram, I twice came face to face with the goddess Kali in electric episodes that temporarily blinded me with white light and overwhelmed my hearing to the point of only hearing pure white noise. Or was it the blaring of trumpets as talked about in the Gospels prior to the disciples leaving their own bodies? In another instance, I was pushed off balance by some force as I entered the temple of Hanuman. His presence was very pronounced in my lower 3 chakras. While visiting a retreat dedicated to expanding the healing work of the Devas, for the first time I was astounded to witness hundreds of tiny lives dancing all over the garden and animating it from within. I had always wondered about the stories of faeries and elves, and here they were. What I found fascinating was that I had been impressed. I'm using this term in the esoteric sense, wherein one receives energetic impressions. I had been impressed with so many different tiny energies that it took me a couple of weeks to fully understand all of the facets of what I had witnessed. My experience is that the etheric body will register impressions as they occur, but that these energies often take time to unfold into linear thoughts, feelings, and memories. I will go more in depth on these encounters over time. If anyone has their own encounters that they would like to share, I hope they will. For now, thank you for your presence.